Hello and welcome to Rawabet Center. The Iraqis today are probably facing the most crucial time of their lives because we are about to form our next government. And this government is going to be more important than any government we had since 2003 because it's either we're going to be the next Switzerland or just go backwards. And I don't know how backwards can we go anymore. Now, the next government is facing the pressure of the protests and the threats of the terrorism come back again to Iraq and also the interventions by so many countries. For that reason, the Supreme Religious Reference got involved for the first time into the political scene and gave many guidelines to the next Iraqi government. Now, by the way, the Supreme Religious Reference is well respected by all Iraqis, whether they are Shia, Sunni, Kurds, or Arabs. Now, one of the most critical guidelines that was given to the next Iraqi government is that the next prime minister needs to be independent. Great idea. However, the dilemma here is that all the candidates that we are having right now, such as Dr. Haidar al-Abadi, Mr. Noor al-Maliki, Mr. Hadi al-Amari, or all the other candidates are actually not independent. They are still in their own political parties. For that reason, most of the Iraqis today believe that the next Iraqi prime minister is not going to be independent. Not now, maybe next time, maybe the next 4 years, we don't know. The Rawabet Center documented in its recent article that there are actually interventions by many countries like Iran, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, the United States, the United Kingdom, and France. Now, let me start with Iran. Iran had an influence into the Iraqi political scene since 2003, and it got increasingly high in 2014 when ISIS occupied many provinces in Iraq. And right now, Iran realized that the Iraqis actually are moving towards the patriotic pathway. For that reason, they are now using General Qasem Soleimani to not only talk to the Shia political powers, but also to the Sunni and Kurdish political powers as well. Now, the question is why Iran are using General Qasem Soleimani in the first place? Isn't he supposed to be a military consultant according to the Iranian and Iraqi governments? Who gave him the green light to do such an activity, and why the political powers are opening discussions with him and accepting the talks with him regarding the next Iraqi government? These are questions in my head and in many Iraqis' heads, to be honest with you. Now, when we talk about Saudi Arabia, we have Mr. Thamar al-Sabhan, who is actually the Saudi Gulf Affairs Minister. Mr. al-Sabhan actually has the most influence into the political scene in Iraq, and he actually tried in the last 2 years to create a Sunni entity through meetings in Turkey and many neighboring countries. However, that didn't work out. It ended actually with a big fail. For that reason, the Rawabet Center believes that Iran right now has the most powerful influence into the Iraqi political scene compared to Saudi Arabia, of course. Now, when we talk about Turkey, Turkey also wants to play a role in terms of influencing Iraq politically, economically, and also in terms of security. Now, because we are talking about politics, Turkey actually wants Mr. Osama Nujafi to be the next parliament speaker in Iraq because of the qualities that he's having, because of the importance of this position and the experience that Mr. Nujafi has. And they believe that he's actually going to handle that position really well, and because also the important decisions that actually going to come out of the Iraqi parliament. For that reason, that's what Turkey wants to happen. Now, when we talk about the United States, the United Kingdom, and France, and what do they actually want? They want actually Dr. Haidar al-Abadi to be the next prime minister, and they support his patriotic Iraqi project, which actually believes in rebuilding Iraq and getting over the sectarian wars and ideas that we had previously, and also just fighting corruption and move forward with Iraq. And the Rawabet Center actually believes the patriotic Iraqi project is actually the right thing if it's actually implemented right. And also, the U.S. ambassador, Mr. Britt McGorg, actually talked to all the political powers in Iraq, and they informed them that they want actually Mr. Haidar al-Abadi to be the next prime minister. The problem here is that Mr. Haider Abadi is still actually not independent, as I mentioned before. Even though he's actually the closest to be the next Iraqi prime minister, however, we still don't know. There are actually many names in there, and we will never know until it will be announced. So we will see really what will happen in the next 2 weeks, and how the government actually gonna form, and who's gonna be the next Iraqi prime minister. Thank you for watching.